I am so excited to share a guest post with you all today. It's written by my hubby who blogs over at Mission Husband. If you ever read his blog, which is a great resource for us wives, it's like free access into our guys' minds. You'll know his posts are longer than mine, but worth it. Jared and I were having a discussion along the lines of this post and I said, "Hey, wanna write a guest post?" He gladly agreed, so, without further ado, here's Jared. I get a lot of emails from wives wanting to get inside the heads of their husbands when it comes to how he acts and reacts about sex. I realize all husbands are different, and some prefer some things over others, but overall, I feel that there are a lot of wives out there who really want to make their sex life with their husband what God intended it to be, but sometimes get frustrated by not understanding why he's always asking for sex, even when they just had it, or what he means when he says things like "I just want you to want me." So it's for this reason I decided to write this post. It's not to make wives feel inadequate, or bad about what they're not doing right, but rather to let you inside a guy's head for a little bit, and help you understand where your husband is coming from when he is think about all things sexual. I think a lot of the problems that arise in a couple's sex life start with a lack of communication, understanding on both sides, on how a man and woman view sex in totally different ways. Finding and understanding those differences are the first step to having and maintaining healthy, passionate, and incredibly fulfilling sex life. Makes sense so far? Okay, if you're ready, here are 10 things, in no particular order, that husbands wish their wives knew about sex. Sex is not optional in his mind. To a husband, sex is about right up there on the list with eating and breathing. Can he survive without it? Yes, but it's not fun at all. Sex is to the man what talking, communication is to the woman. If you would ask several wives if it would be okay if their husband didn't listen or communicate with them for weeks at a time, well, you get the idea. Frequent sex equals happy, attentive, listening, cuddling, caring, talking husband. Husbands use sex to reconnect. Think of it this way, let's use the example of a cordless phone, bear with me here. Let's say the husband is the cordless handset, and the wife is the base. The handset may hold a charge for a while off the base, maybe even for a couple of days. But sooner or later, the handset is going to have to be recharged, reconnected to the base to keep the battery charged, the programming updated, and the phone usable. When your husband comes home from a long day at work, and the first thing on his mind is sex, it's not that he's some sort of sex addict, it's just him longing to return to his base and reconnect with his wife in a "I've had a long day, and I need assurance that no matter how hard life gets, you and I are okay" way. He doesn't always want to be the one asking. Most husbands are fine with being the sexual aggressor most of the time, but if he is always the one that is trying to start something, he starts to feel like you just put up with him, and don't really care about sex. Every husband's fantasy is to be sitting there on the couch, watching TV or whatever, and have his wife come over out of nowhere, obviously the kids aren't around, straddle him, and start going at it. He wants to know that his wife desires him sexually, not just puts up with him sexually. This is a huge boost to his self-esteem and overall confidence. He thinks you're gorgeous, and you can't change that. It doesn't matter how you feel about that leftover baby fat, or how you cringe when you look in the mirror and see those stretch marks. Your husband couldn't care less. He thinks you're the most beautiful woman on the face of the earth, and even when he tells you this, you dismiss it, and say stuff like "Thanks hon, but I don't think so," or "Well, you may feel that way, but nobody else does." Please don't do this. Your husband isn't trying to put you on by telling you he thinks your body is amazing, he truly thinks it is. You have to learn to accept the compliment as him being honest, and say thank you, instead of trying to play it off. And that leads me to my next point. 1. Sometimes he just wants to look at you naked. I can already see you rolling your eyes, but hear me out. If your husband is working hard to avert his eyes from every other sexual source besides his wife, not viewing any porn, not checking out the girl on the billboard, etc. He has a God-given need/desire/appetite to admire his wife's naked body. I know this may seem strange to you, but it's true. So, when you're getting dressed in the morning, or ready for bed at night, don't try to position yourself so he can't see those parts of you. It's okay. He's not going to attack you and want to have sex, as long as you have a regular sex life. He just wants to appreciate your beauty for a little bit. Remember, you are his only sexual source. Wouldn't you rather have him looking at you than some billboard model? I've heard a lot of wives say that they are scared if they allow their husbands to see them nude, they will want to have sex right that minute. If it's been a week since you've made love, this may be true, but if you have sex regularly, sometimes it's nice for him to just be able to admire what he thinks is the most amazing body he has ever seen. So linger a little while when you bend over to pick up your socks off the floor, or let your robe accidentally fall open a little when he walks by. Not only will he love it, but you just might find yourself thinking about sex a little more during the day, leading to a greater chance of you desiring intimacy later that night. 2. He loves it when you surprise him. By this I mean do something totally out of the ordinary, just for his benefit, and to see the look on his face. A few examples would be, going out to dinner, and while you're waiting for the waitress to seat you, lean over and whisper in his ear, "You won't have to take my panties off later when we get home, because I'm not wearing any." Or after the kids go to bed and you're going to curl up and watch a movie together, go into your room to get your PJs on and come back out with no top on, telling him you're going to need his help keeping warm, because somebody told you it was topless movie night. Once you pick his jaw up off the floor, you might just find he isn't paying much attention to the movie anymore. Another one would be to surprise him when he is taking a shower by jumping in the shower with him that you're having a hard time using your hands this morning, so he is going to have to help soap you up today. I've heard several wives say that they love to see the look on their husband's face when they surprise him like that. You'll have your husband wondering what's gotten into you. 3. If you have to say no to sex, watch how you say it. I know it seems silly, but you have no idea how hard it is sometimes for a man to get up the nerve to ask his wife if she wants to have sex. Usually he will try to test the waters first, by hinting at it, or maybe a little grab here and there, to see how you'll respond. All this time there is a little argument going on in his head sounding something like this: "Just ask her." "No, last time I asked her flat out, she rolled her eyes and said something about 'that's all I think about.'" "Yeah, but this time it might work. Come on, I really want to make love. Can't she see that? Maybe I'll ask her later after dinner." "Yeah, I'll help with the kids and the dishes, and then ask later." Fast forward to 7 p.m, "Okay, see, I got the dishes done, maybe I should hint at it now." "Nah, I'll wait until the kids go to bed. As soon as the kids go to bed, she'll be able to think about me. She has to know it's been a couple of days, I'm sure she'll be okay with it. Right? The kids go to bed, okay, I think I'll ask now. Wait, she looks like she's got something going there on the computer, I'll give her some time to get that done. I'll just ask her when we go to bed, it will be more of a sure bet than anyway." 10 p.m. rolls around, and they're crawling into bed. "Okay, I'm going to ask. Hey hon, do you want to make love?" This is how it goes in a guy's head when he's thinking about asking for sex. Why? Because guys have this strange tendency to make sexual rejection, even with a good reason, a personal rejection. Since the need for regular sex with his wife is so much a part of who he is, any rejection of that need feels like a rejection of him to your husband. I know this is hard to understand, and wives don't mean it that way, but this goes for almost every husband I have ever talked to. Now obviously there are times when you are going to have to say not denied hon, but the key is how you say it. Don't do it in a nonchalant or dismissing way. Remember, he has been working up the nerve to ask you for the past several hours most times. When you deny him, say something like this: Han, I love to have sex with you, but I just can't do it tonight because, fill in the blank. Then if he's really pent up, you could offer to help him out in another way besides intercourse, or give him a realistic date to get a rain check, like tomorrow morning, or the next evening. That way he feels like you understand he has a legitimate need, he feels like you care, and he feels like you want to help him as soon as possible. You're still saying not tonight, but he doesn't feel like you don't care, you're just blowing him off, or that you think sex is not important. One other thing, sometimes if your husband has been thinking about you all day, and then for whatever reason, you have to turn him down that night, he may feel like he can't wait until tomorrow, no fault of yours. Sometimes it's just hard to turn it off, after it's on. If you roll over and offer him your help to get a quick release before you go to sleep, he will sleep much better, and you'll be a hero in your husband's eyes. You just showed him that you care, even if you can't offer him sex right now. I can't understate how much this will mean to him. 4. He loves to see you turned on. There is nothing quite as sexy to a husband as seeing his wife thoroughly turned on and enjoying sex. In the same way, there's nothing quite as discouraging to a husband as you laying there with an almost bored look on your face, and with the attitude of would you just get it over with please, so I can go to sleep. To your husband, his ability to arouse, stimulate, tease, drive you crazy with desire, and help you climax, is a huge part of what he feels his worth is as a husband. If he feels like he is failing in bed, he is going to be discouraged in other areas of life too. In contrast, if he feels his wife thinks he's amazing in the bedroom, he is going to be much more confident and have a I can conquer the world attitude. You can help this by showing and telling him, not in a faking it way, how much he turns you on, or makes you feel good, as you're making love. Obviously he's not going to do everything right, but make sure you let him know when he does hit the right spot, or do something you find particularly hot. Now I've heard wives ask the question, but what about the times that I'm not really into it, but am doing it because I love my husband, and know he needs it tonight? Husbands understand you're not going to have the same drive for sex that he has every time. He gets that. All he's hoping for when this is the case, and you're just giving him a quickie for release, is to not make him feel like he's annoying for wanting it, or that he interrupting your day and you have so many other things you could be doing. He needs feel accepted by you, even when you're not particularly into it this time. Smile and give him that come here baby, I know you need it and I'm here for you attitude. Whispering a little encouragement in his ear in the process is a huge bonus too. Smile. 5. He wants sex to be adventurous sometimes. I've gotten the question from husbands, how do I get my wife to be a little more adventurous with sex? Different locations, positions, etc. Here's the deal, there are 3 basic kinds of sex for a guy. There's what we like to call the normal or go-to sex, mostly in the bedroom, consisting of what we know always works, and satisfies both parties. There's quickie sex, a quick but passionate encounter that provides release when a longer session isn't realistic at the time, and there's out of the ordinary or adventurous sex, sex in a not normal location, outside, back of the minivan, etc., or learning a different technique or position that may be out of the normal sexual menu for the couple. This is usually a tough one for wives to understand, because I think for the most part a woman approaches sex with I like to stick to what works, and what is comfortable, where a guy's attitude may be more I like normal most of the time, but sometimes I want to make it exciting and try new places. While I'm not suggesting you go make love in the city park and get arrested, what I am saying is to try to understand where your husband is coming from. He sometimes sees sex as an adventure that you both are going on together. He wants you to be excited, thrilled to be on this adventure with him. For example, say you are taking a hike through the woods together somewhere, and when you stop for a break,